All right, let's just make sure we are live here. 1 second, folks. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to our panel. We'll just wait for everyone to join in. I'm waiting for some other panel. So please feel free to join in. I know it's just me right now. We don't have anyone in the audience yet, but we'll give everyone a few minutes to come in. We got some fun topics we will jump into today. We'll cover obviously some news with Nikon. We'll talk about just general camera gear as well as our favorite places to shoot. And we'll see kind of where the live stream takes us from there. Currently, there's no one here, so I am just going to hang out until we've got some folks to join us, and then we can see what happens. Oh, we got two viewers. All right. So if you're joining the stream right now, yes, it is currently just me on the panel. But if you would like to join, there is a link in the chat. Please feel free to click that and join me. I would love to chat with you and get your thoughts. I guess the first piece of news we're going to talk about today is the potential Nikon ZF, which is definitely interesting to say the least. I know it's been getting a lot of mixed reviews from people. So I'd love to get your insight on that. Please hit up the chat if you would like to, weigh in your sixth sense on that potential new camera, or please feel free to join the panel. Like I said, if you're new to my channel, my name is Joey, the host of Joe Man's Land. I don't usually do live streams, but unfortunately, a really incredible streamer and fella named Chuck over at AP Studios recently fell ill and hasn't been able to host these live streams. So since then, a lot of people in his community, myself included, have been trying to continue streaming and continue carrying on these conversations, but it's definitely not the same without him. So Chuck, if you're seeing this, we miss you. Please come back. I'm sure folks don't want to have little old me hosting these, so please get well soon. We do miss you, and to Chuck and his family, our thoughts are with you. But again, if you want to join the panel, there is a link in the chat. Please, please, please come on by. Again, right now it's just me, which is totally fine. If you just want to hear me yak away for about an hour, that would be great. But I'm sure lots of people have some thoughts they would like to share. So I guess let's jump in first with the Nikon ZF. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily the camera I would like to see Nikon come out with next. The ZFC was one of their top selling cameras in the Asian market anyways. And if you're new to Nikon, the ZFC is a crop sensor camera very similar to the Z50. They basically rehoused it, made it look like a film camera, and they were off to the races. That was it. So, it's a niche camera for sure. I know there's some people that are photography purists that would like to just see folks literally just have cameras that have photo capabilities with no video in it. From what I've seen so far on Nikon rumors, again, which isn't this isn't Nikon officially saying this is the specs of the camera. From what I've seen so far, I think it will probably have video features in the ZF, but it will be a full frame camera. Some people are thinking it's going to have the same sensor potentially as the Z7 II. Others are thinking it'll be the same sensor as the Z8, Z9. And some folks are going as far as to saying there might be a whole new sensor altogether. Obviously, if it's a Z7 II, we're looking at 45 megapixels stack sensor, which it's a great sensor. I think that would be nice. If we're looking at the Z8, Z9 sensors, 45 megapixels as well. Great sensor on that, a little bit newer. And if it's a new sensor that people are thinking, they're thinking it might be around that 30 megapixel mark, which, I think 30 megapixels is great. I think that allows you to blow up the image nicely. It's good for print. But in the comments, please ask questions and please give me your sixth sense on this camera. I personally will probably not be picking one up. I use a Nikon Z6. I love it a ton. And that's kind of the next camera I'm waiting for is a Z6 III or something in that price range and performance area. right? The Z6 II is a great camera, but for me, as someone that shoots video, I wouldn't go necessarily from a 4K camera to another 4K camera. They're both full frame, they both look great, pretty similar sensors in terms of megapixels. So for me, the next evolution of my camera buying journey would be going to Z6 III, right? Something that can shoot 6K, full frame, open gate would be great. Something that's got N-Log 10-bit in it unlocked, so we don't have to use an external recorder like a Ninja. That's kind of where I would see myself going after my Z6. And again, I love my Z6. It does everything that I need and then some. Hey, Tim, thanks for joining in. Hello, we got Tim Hunter in the chat here. Tim, please feel free to join me. It's just me, and I mean that's fine. I love talking to, and I've got lots of things to chat about. But I would love to get your 6 cents on the potential Nikon ZF and some other things as well. Anyways, we got more people coming in. We got 5 people in here now. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. I know it's earlier than some people are free, but I just wrapped up work and thought this was the perfect time to jump in and chat Nikon and photography. But yeah, so anyways, going back to the Nikon Z6 III, I think it's really addresses a gap in the market for Nikon. The Z8 is killing it. The Z9 is also an incredible camera, but it's a very expensive camera. Not in terms of Tim's multitasking. Nice. Not in terms of its competitors. It's very reasonably priced, and in fact, it's priced a lot lower than a lot of other pro cameras in the market and does even more than a lot of them can, right? Especially when you're looking at a hybrid camera. The Z8 and the Z9 really do address both worlds. They've got killer video specs. They're great for stills, they're great for sports. It's a powerful camera, but it's expensive. So for the folks that are more of the prosumer level, right? Some people that are just coming out of beginner, they might be pro, but they're buying their own gear. They might not be paid professionals. It's a bit of a high price. It's not necessarily a price that a lot of people can justify spending, right? And it unfortunately will alienate a large consumer base that Nikon could have and has had, right? The Z6 and Z7 totally hit that mark, and the Z6 II, Z7 II as well. But there are people that would love to jump in and get that new camera that's got 6K. It doesn't have to have a 45 megapixel sensor, but has some of those newer things. J Rod, hello, welcome to the live cast. It is currently just little old me hosting this. And again, if you guys would like to join, please click this link. I would love to have some other people join me on the panel. Otherwise, it will be me gabbing for about 45 minutes, which is totally fine. I love talking, but I would love to get some of y'all's thoughts on this. Oh, we got Tim here. Tim's got a comment here. Tim is saying, I have the Z8, but I am limited with my PC processing the video, so not full benefits. No, totally. I think that's another thing as well, is what can your computer handle, right? I mean, for me, I've got a Mac Mini. I've got an M1 chip in it. It's great. I can edit in Final Cut, which is what I use for all my YouTube videos. Totally handles 4K footage. No problem, no latency. If I jump up to 6K or 8K timelines, I start to get some skipping and it's not nearly as smooth. So, I think when I do get a camera that can do 6K, 8K, I will probably need to upgrade my computer because it's struggling. Oh, we got Martin Hild here. Hello, Martin. Thank you for joining in. Just passing by. Still wanted to leave a like. Hey, thanks, Martin. I appreciate that. Get some sleep. I know you're on the other side of the world there. And I think that's the other thing as well that's cool about Chuck's community. It's global. Chuck's really connected a lot of people from all over the world. I'm sure most of the people in here are here because of AP Studios. And, he obviously has multiple streams every week, which is amazing and really a testament to his creativity and also his work ethic, because it's a lot of work to host one of these, and he goes for 4, 5, 6 hours, which is crazy. So we definitely miss you, Chuck, and wish you were here. Oh, we got another message here from J-Rod. You'd have good enough computer edit. Yeah, 100% you do. And I guess my question to you, J-Rod, is what kind of PC do you have? That's what I would wonder. What kind of PC are you using for your video editing? I used to have a Microsoft Surface. That thing was just brutal for editing video. It was super slow and not great. And there's a lot of video editors out there as well. So J-Rob, if you can tell us what computer you have exactly and also what software you use, that would be cool. I am curious now. Tim is saying you need to upgrade. You need a good graphics card as well. Yes, for sure. Honestly, I find that my Mac Mini, which I bought used, does a pretty bang up job. I can export a 4K file of like video project in like that's maybe 3 minutes in length in about 2-3 minutes. It's pretty quick. For me, it's the M1 chip that definitely made the world of difference, and having the integrated RAM in there as well. It's a very nice workflow, and also as well, Final Cut was designed for that computer specifically, right? So there definitely works really well with the setup that you have. Sorry, let's have a look here. All right, so J-Rod is saying, I have an i7 A700, 32 gigs, video card, CPU. Oh man, yeah, that's powerful. I mean, an i7 and 32 gigs of RAM, that's a pretty powerful computer. And I guess, okay, our CPU wasn't designed for 4K, and you're using Adobe Rush, not Adobe Rush Pro. Adobe Rush is pretty good. It's pretty quick. If you're wanting to put a quick video together, it's an efficient editor, but it is interesting. I find that I've got some buddies in Seoul that have i7s that have got 32 gigs of RAM, and they run DaVinci on their computer, and the latency that they run into in playing back video clips makes it almost impossible to edit. And I mean, for anything else, I think an i7 with 32 gigs of RAM would work really well. So it's interesting that you run into those issues when you're shooting video. For myself, like I said, my Mac Mini, it's just the M1 chip, and I've got 8 gigs of RAM, and I don't run into any issues running Final Cut there. Got another message from Tim. Tim is saying, oh, hello, Jeff and Leslie from Wildlife, Nature, and Photography. Thank you for joining in. So we got Tim here. Prices and supplies are starting to stabilize post the end of days. So you're getting better deals in post. Yeah, 100%. Well, and that's the thing as well. If you're building your own computer, that's something worth keeping in mind. Is it's expensive, some of these components. If you're wanting to get a Ryzen or a different type of processor, at one point in time, the price was just through the roof. A lot of people were buying them to do crypto mining. Oh, we got some other people saying hello. We've obviously got Jeff. Hello, Jeff. It's nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We've also got Greg here. Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we've also got a newcomer to my channel, Calligraphy. Hello from Nigeria. That's so cool. Well, hey, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate that. If you guys would like to join the panel again, I will send the link. Please feel free to join. I would love to have another person on here with me. We can talk about anything you want. We can talk about Nikon. We can talk about videography, photography. We can talk about your favorite photo spots to visit. I want to keep this live cast to an hour. So we've only got an hour to do this, but let's talk about whatever you all are interested in. If I don't know something about a certain topic, I'd invite you to join. But if you have any questions for me, anything you would love to chat about, either, jump on the panel with me or send a message in the chat here, and I will share it, and we can have a talk about it. For those of you who don't know what I do in terms of my work, I am not a paid photographer. All the cameras are on that wall back behind me here. I've gotten for free from different community bins and things like that. I work full-time in marketing. That's what I do. I work for an energy provider here in the province, and I work mostly with brand and acquisition. And part of that, I'm happy to say, is using my camera, which I love. I love to be able to take my camera to work and use it. And my Z6 works really well for that. Oh, we got some more messages here. We got Martin. Hello, Martin. M1 is a beast. Love that. I also have the latest Ryzen, which is not much faster. Yeah, I mean, the newest Ryzens are great, but it's I think if you're looking for gaming or even photo editing, PCs can be awesome. But I have to say, for video editing, and I mean, I am a Mac guy. Like even my work laptop is a Mac. I just find it works really well for video editing, especially since they came out with the M1, M2, and M2 Ultra chips. It runs really smoothly, and it's really easy to go back and forth on clips and edit Got another message here from Tim. I use Clipchamp because it's free with my Office 365. There's Max 1080, which is fine. Oh yeah, that's cool. I've never used that program before. That sounds interesting. And that's the other thing as well is 1080 is totally fine for a lot of people, right? I mean, most people's displays are still 1080. Even with my setup I have here right now, I'm using a 4K 35-inch display. That's my main one that I use for my editing, and then I've got an older 27-inch 1080p display that I run off the side, and then I just run all that through my Mac Mini. Um, I like it. I didn't get the Apple display. It's kind of pricey, and I just didn't feel like doing that. We got another comment here. I have a MacBook Pro with the M1, 16 gigs of RAM, no issues editing 4K. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's unreal. Like the computers don't spec out as the most powerful compared to a lot of PCs, but for video editing specifically, it's so great. Jeff, what editing software are you using for your editing? Are you using like Final Cut, iMovie, or maybe DaVinci? What's your poison of choice? Oh, we got another message here from J-Rod. Clipchamp works, but it won't say 4K unless you buy the plan. Yeah, and again, 1080p still looks really good, right? I mean, if you're oversampling your 4K to 1080, down resing a bit, I mean, it looks good. And it really takes someone with a fine eye to really see a difference between 1080 and 4K. If you have a really nice 4K camera, maybe, then it's a bit more obvious. But it's not as obvious as it used to be. Oh, we got here Jeff and Leslie. iMovie. Okay, yeah. iMovie's awesome. Honestly, for most of what you do, it kills it. It's really a good program. I started out on iMovie before I went to Final Cut. I started out on iMovie, then I went to Final Cut, and then I went to Filmora when I was rocking PC, which I quite liked. Tried out DaVinci, and then I came back to Final Cut in the end. I found that the workflow was just a bit more what I prefer. And we got another editor here, Topaz Video AI also. Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't tried that one. I've heard good things about Topaz. I've tried using the I've got here actually Topaz Studio 2 for upresing, and it's pretty neat software for sure. If you're using a lower megapixel camera, you want to be able to blow the image up a bit more, you can definitely do some things there. And then Tim's got a comment too. I agree with J-Rod. It's basic, but works. A good tip with the program to outgrow it. Yeah, I think the best video editor, period, is the one that you know how to use, right? Every editor's got some similarities, and in the end of the day, is an editor, right? It really comes down to the content you're putting into it. For me, it really comes down to the program that works well on the computer that I have, right? Because depending on your computer, your system, certain programs work and certain programs don't, right? DaVinci runs on my Mac, no problems, but for me, DaVinci's just a little bit overkill. I'm a YouTuber. I'm not a filmmaker per se. I mean, kind of cool to produce something, but I'm not at that stage in my growth and my learning yet, right? So I would say that for me, Final Cut kind of does that. We got another message here from J-Rod. I'm dabbling in videos. I may have to upgrade a few things. Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, also the thing to keep in mind as well is use computers. I bought my M1 Mac with, I think it's just got a 500 gig hard drive on it, so I use an external. I think back when I bought it, it was like $500 or $600 Canadian, and nowadays, if I was to buy this used, it'd be like $200 or $300 probably. For $200 or $300, you could get a Mac Mini and just give it a go, right? I think, if you're wanting to use that computer for everything, buying used, you have a bit more of a risk. But if you're just buying it just to use as your video editing computer, I mean, start there, right? Don't break the bank, especially if you're coming from PC to Mac for the first time. It's a big change, right? Like it's a very different system. It's not like it can't be learned, but if you're just doing it for the first time, it's a bit of a learning curve, right? Got another comment here from Jeff. Topaz video is slow, but it works for stabilization. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it gets rid of some of that jiggle. Yeah, sometimes the Final Cut video stab is just a little not great, not amazing. Got another person here for now. I clip 4K better from J-Rod here, but that's how it gets started. Yeah, for sure. No, I need that. I think as well when you're able to edit 4K, you're really it's becoming the new 1080, right? You're if you're posting it and you're wanting it to have some longevity, posting in 4K can be good for that. And also as well, if you can edit in 4K, but you've got a 6 or 8K camera, you can crop in, which is great, right? Like you can put your 6 or 8K footage onto a 4K timeline or a 1080p timeline, and you can resize things a lot more, right? Which is a really nice reason to shoot in a higher resolution than you're going to be editing in. Got another comment here from J Rod. I did price out new guts to the computer. It's not bad. Nice. That's awesome. Well, it's good when it doesn't cost too much, right? And I think that's the thing as content creators or as photographers, videographers, we always have to think about the price for the gear, whether it's for editing or for shooting, any of that stuff. Can I afford it? And is the barrier to entry okay? Right? If I'm not a professional photographer, I'm not going to spend as much money on a camera as I would on the computer. For me, I use my computer for a lot more things. If I had more clients and I was working full time as a professional photographer, okay, now I can, at least in my mind, I can justify that expense of getting a new camera that can shoot 6K, 8K, and all that stuff. We got another comment here from J Rob, but I'm spoiled. The C9 can make some killer video files, but I need to read up on all the formats. Yeah, 100%. No, the Z9 can really do a lot. It's a very powerful camera, and it's one that I would love to get my hands on sometime to do a review. The Camera Store, I did some content with them recently and it was a ton of fun, but there isn't a Z9 in the rental log right now, so unfortunately can't get my hands on one of those yet. Also as well, folks, please feel free to join the live stream. I've sent a link in the chat here. I would love to get some other people to chat with. I feel like I'm kind of going crazy because it's just me right now, but I hope you guys are enjoying it. Sorry if I'm not as anchored as Chuck. Chuck's really good at just flowing, right? And I feel like when it's just you hosting, you kind of run out of ideas sometimes. So thank you all, though, for the comments in the chat. That's really helping drive me. So, we've talked about video editing. What do we want to talk about next? Do we want to talk about the ZF? If someone can comment ZF on the side, let's chat about the ZF. Anyone? Bueller? I think I already shared my thoughts on the ZF at the start of this live cast. I don't think it's the camera Nikon needs to be putting out right now. I think it's a cool camera. I'm not against it coming out, but for me, I feel like the Z6 III should be coming up next. Oh, J-Rod's got a comment here. Well, what J-Rod's saying here. What do you think of older lenses being used for video? Oh, I love using older lenses for video. All my stuff is shot on older cameras, or older lenses, right? All my glass is f-mount adapted. If you're talking f-mount, it looks great. The autofocus works quite well. I've found that using my 35-1.7 against 17 to 35 f-mount lens adapted, the autofocus wasn't that much different, at least on a Z6. This was a few firmware updates ago, so that might have changed since then. But I really like it. And I mean, if you're wanting to go older and you want to get some old SLR glass, I mean, you can get great results with that. I mean, obviously good to use a tripod, anchor your shot, but you can get some really awesome results if you're behind the camera and you want to get sort of that filmic soft look. I definitely recommend trying out some adapted SLR glass. It can be a ton of fun. We got another message from Greg here. Very limited experience, but have mostly edited on iOS video on iMovie, LumaFusion iPad, and a little on Final Cut. Nice. Those are all great programs. LumaFusion on iPad is great. And actually, if you're a Final Cut user, you can now get that on iPad Pros. So you've got an iPad Pro, no matter what generation it is, or the newest iPad Air. It's, I think, $7 a month or somewhere around that to get Final Cut. I think it only uploads in 1080 though. I think that's, and it's good. Like, I think the Final Cut on the iPad's not bad. It needs a couple updates though. You're kind of limited with your color grading and also with your title sequences. And also it's not like you can load all of your Final Cut plugins from your desktop onto your iPad. I would love to see that. And also as well, you can take your Final Cut project from the iPad to the Mac, but not vice versa. So there are some limitations there. All right, J-Rod's getting into the ZF here. ZF would be nice, but a new DX format camera would sell a lot. Yeah, I mean, for sure. If they put out a new DX camera, I'm sure they would sell like hotcakes for sure. But I mean, I think their biggest gap right now, at least from my perspective, again, this is just my opinion, is they don't have a prosumer full frame camera that's come out in the last 3 years, and that's a problem, right? You see Panasonic coming out with the S5 II and the S5 IIX, which are both killer. You've got 80 billion cameras coming out from Sony and Canon on the reg, which you know it's kind of crazy the amount of cameras they put out. But and I mean, obviously Nikon can't keep up with that, but people are coming out with new cameras. So I think the prosumer area is definitely something that they need to address. All right, Greg, what are the chances the ZF will have the XP 7? Oh man, that's tricky. I mean, I see if it that's difficult to answer. I have trouble seeing a world in which it doesn't get the enhanced autofocus. I think that's something that they're going to be putting in all their cameras moving forwards. They might recycle some sensors from older cameras, but I think the biggest gripe that people have had in the past is the autofocus performance. So I think definitely that's going to be something that should be included and hopefully would be. You got another comment here from J Rod. Old lenses like the Leica R lenses 5090. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I haven't shot with any Leica glass. I would love to. The majority of my old lenses, I've got some old Pentax lenses. I've got some old Mamiyas. I like to try different things. I got Soviet lens on this camera here. I'm going to be shooting a review on that coming up here, which should be fun. But yeah, no, old glass is awesome. We got another comment from Tim. I think the ZF is about making money. It will kill it definitely will kill in Asia for sure. I mean, the ZFC was the best seller for quite a while there in Asia specifically, right? It definitely seems to dominate in that market. I think obviously the smaller form factor is great. People like to be able to take their camera with them everywhere. That's definitely something worth sharing. I got another one here from J Rod. Agreed, a new Z6 would also be very popular. Yeah, for sure. I just think a lot of people, if it's priced around that $2,500 to $3,500 range, a lot of people would be quite interested in it. We got another one from J Rod here. It has to be X-Speed 7 or everyone will complain. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, if it's not X-Speed 7 or something similar or comparable to the new autofocus system, a lot of folks are going to be pretty bummed. DX Pro body would be nice, but I get the Z6 series probably. Yeah, so no, for sure, Martin. I think, like I said before, I'm not against the ZF, right? A full frame version of the ZFC would be cool. Like I think a lot of people would pick it up. But I think just in terms of myself being more of a prosumer user, more of a video guy, I don't know if the ZF would necessarily do it for me, but it might for you, which is great. Greg, I wonder if Final Cut will run acceptably on a 2020 model iPad Pro. Look forward to fetching him one iPad. Yeah. That's interesting. I bet you there's a YouTube video of someone trying that on an older channel, on a smaller channel, because that's a really good point. Like a lot of people do have the older iPad Pros. From what I've heard, it runs, but I wouldn't be able to guarantee for you, Greg, that it would. But on the M2 chip that I'm running on my iPad, it runs fine. There's no issues. In fact, I think my iPad's more powerful than my computer at this point, unfortunately. But I just wish they would update Final Cut's interface to be more similar to the desktop experience, because it is a bit of a learning curve going from the desktop Final Cut to the iPad Final Cut. I've actually got a video on my channel, Greg, if you want to check it out. It goes into what the workflow is like. It's improved a bit since then, but still pretty similar. All right, we got another comment here from Jeff. I've been a DX user for years and would like to see a pro level DX. However, I know they would have money. Shooters out there. Yeah, no, I think a pro level DX body would be cool. I think a lot of people would like that. I think, and I'm not a birder, right? Like I don't do a lot of wildlife photography. Is that something that would be appealing for a lot of wildlife shooters, Jeff? I'm just wondering. I used to shoot crop when I had my D7100 and I loved it. Then I went to Fuji and shot crop there. And then when I came over to Nikon, it was just full frame. I didn't try out any of the crop sensor bodies after that. I got a comment here from Martin, something like the Fuji Pro GX. Yeah, that's a really nice camera. I mean, I really like Fuji for crop. I think they have a really, really nice system. All right, here we go, Jeff. I use Affinity Photo, Mac, and iPad. Interface is very different. Yeah, 100%. I've also tried Affinity on both, and it's a very different experience. I don't know if I like the iPad flow yet. I like being able to have my iPad with me, and that's why I pay the $7 a month for Final Cut. I might be out on a work trip and I want to shoot a quick vlog. I'm not going to take my Mac Mini with me, right? My iPad Pro can come with me and satiate that hunger I have for posting videos regularly. I got another comment here from Greg. I believe the XP 6 is done for so XP 7 would guarantee the ZF. Yeah, 100%. No, I think you're right, Greg. I would be shocked if they put XP 6 in the ZF. Or any cameras really moving forwards. It's the technology's improved. It's obviously the XP 6 has gotten better with some firmware updates, but it's still not ideal, right? Like we all have autofocus issues. For myself, I don't see a ton because like I'm mostly doing talking head stuff. And I shoot like urban, so I don't need something super fast. But if I was shooting sports, my Z6 would probably not be the camera I would use. Got another comment here from J Rod. All right, there are still a ton of folks out there at the D500, 200 to 500 F mount waiting for a mirrorless path to upgrade. Yeah, 100%. No, I think that's definitely a unique thing to Nikon for sure, is there are a lot of wildlife shooters. And the Z9, I don't know if it really does it for everyone. I'm sure it does for a lot of people, but a lot of folks want that crop sensor body, it seems like. So that's really interesting. Got another comment here from Jeff. A lot of wildlife shooters like DX or shoot in FF and DX mode. I use FF lenses on my DX bodies. Yeah. Well, and I guess, when you're shooting crop, you're getting a little bit closer to your subject, right? So, if you're shooting birds or wildlife, you're not going to be this far away from them. So being able to have that sort of punch in is nice. We've got another comment here from J Rod. I have the full photography Adobe package, but it does not include Premiere Pro. Oh, yeah. Premiere is an interesting program, as I'm sure you all have seen on YouTube as of late. A lot of content creators have been pivoting from Premiere Pro to DaVinci or to Final Cut, mostly to DaVinci. That's been kind of the big one. And if you're just looking to start getting into video editing, or you want to just give something a go, DaVinci's free. It is. I mean, obviously there's a paid one where you get a lot more stuff, but the free one's actually pretty powerful. You can edit basically any resolution you want, and it's a really, really great program. If you're looking to just give it a go, I highly recommend it. Again, it's a different interface, takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it's very powerful for sure. Tim, we got another message from Tim. I love it. Tim saying the Z8 can do everything the D500 can do and more. People are thinking the Z500 is going to be cheap and will be disappointed when it's comparable in price to the Z7. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not a crop guy, right? I like full frame for vlogging and stuff like that. I just like having a bit more separation between my camera and myself when I'm just holding it, right? But no, I mean, if it came in at the price of the Z7 and people were expecting to be a crop sensor price, that would make a few people upset. J-Rod saying Z9 crop with the 800 PF is sick. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's one of the cool things about having a full frame camera is the ability to be able to punch in, right? Being able to, especially on a larger sensor like you have on the Z9, being able to punch in and not lose quality. If I do that on my Z6, I'm going from 24 megapixels down to, I don't know, nothing good, right? So, I mean, it's still usable. I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's nice to be able to have that flexibility with a larger sensor for sure. We got another comment here from Tim. When the D500 launched, it was comparable in price to the D700. I don't know what the price of that was. Sorry, I don't go that. I don't know that much about the older DSLRs. Actually, speaking of older DSLRs, I will be dropping a video tomorrow on the D7200. My dad has one, and I borrowed it, and it was fun to shoot with. So stay tuned for that. Also, as well, please, my voice is getting tired. Please join the the live stream. I sent the link again. I want other people on here. J-Rod jumping in here, though. We got the Z500 needs to match the Sony and Canon around $1,500. Yeah, that would be good. That would, and I think that's the thing as well that Nikon has done very well is their pro body cameras they've come out with, the Z8 and Z9, are priced competitively. They are priced very well. So if the pro version of a ZFC came out around the same price as some of the Canon and Sony compatriots, that would be good, right? That would be ideal. Oh, and Martin saying to Tim, I don't know, Silicon State DX. Sorry, I'm just trying to power read as fast as I can. Yeah, pricing wise, no, I think, again, price is something that we take for granted. Here, let me just adjust my mic here so I can sit up a bit, be a little easier on my back. Price is something that's super duper important, right? And it's something that we all ask for things to be reasonably priced, but then cameras don't come out with the right specs. It's a tricky line, right? We have to be able to balance affordability with performance. And again, I think the Z8 and Z9 have done a really good job of that. But again, my only gripe right now is there is nothing prosumer that's come out in the last 3 years. Really, it really hasn't. Oh, J-Rod is saying, I would join Joe, but the wife will be home soon and have to do other stuff. That is fair. Well, and again, we're going to be going on this live cast for about 20 more minutes. So, we're not going to be rocking the 8-hour peeing in a cup that certain live casters can do. I do not have that capacity. I have to get ready to go for a shoot tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. actually. Actually, maybe you guys would like to know about that. I will tell you about it. There's a distillery here in Calgary I've done some work with in the past. And anyways, they reached out to me and said, hey, do you have any stuff coming up? And I said, I might be doing a shoot coming up. I'll let you know. Time went by, forgot about it. And then I remembered I wanted to do the shoot. I wanted to go to the river, do some fly fishing B-roll, and then kind of combine it with a bottle of liquor. Unfortunately, the liquor bottle I found was rum. And I love rum. Rum is delicious. But connecting a bottle of Barbados rum to a river in Alberta is a stretch. So I called the distillery and they gave me some Tabor corn whiskey and a final what's it called? What's the name of that one? Old fashioned pre-made mix to shoot. So I'll be going out tomorrow morning to shoot that at a sunrise. So that'll be a fun one to shoot and share on this channel. Jeff is saying DX Z camera should be on the Z7, Z6 body and work quite well. Yeah, that would be cool. J-Rod saying it's good to do a time limit. I agree. I have to go and eat. I should be sleeping anyways, Martin says. Perfect. Go to bed, Martin, after we're done. Please stay. We got 8 people in here right now. I want to keep all of you as long as I can. J-Rod saying, hey, also going for a nature shoot tomorrow. Wish me like, hey, that's awesome, J-Rod. Where are you going to shoot? I'd love to know more about that. It's fun getting out to shoot in the summer. And if you guys have some cool shoots coming up, you can either jump on the live cast with me for the last 20 minutes, tell us about it, or tell us in the chat. I will share it. I'd love to hear what people are doing. It's so much fun in the summer to be able to go out and shoot without freezing your face off. I know not all of you are in Canada, but in the wintertime here in Alberta, it is a real thing. Being able to go out and shoot in minus 30 is, it's doable, but it's not enjoyable. Hey, Martin's coming to Canada. That's awesome, Martin. Hey, Quebec is awesome. Not a place I've gotten to yet. So for those of you who don't know your Canada, Canada is kind of split bilingually. The 2 major languages, the 2 official languages anyways, are English and French. And in Quebec, it is French. So that's really cool, Martin. What are you going to be doing in Quebec? Are you just coming up for visiting? Are you going to do some shooting? I'd love to hear about it. J-Rod, here's what J-Rod's doing. Going to Maryland, Eastern Shore, Nature Refuge. Lots to see. That's cool. So I'm getting some birds. Birds are cool. I like birds. I'm really suck at getting them, though. I've been staying at my mom and dad's, and they're out in the countryside, and they got these 2 demented hummingbirds that they refuse to be caught on camera. Then I finally got one photo, and it was just awful. I put my 70 to 200 on the tripod with a teleconverter, and it was gross. Like, I love my 70 to 200. Don't know about it with a teleconverter. It's not ideal. Got a good one to the moon with it, actually. That was kind of fun. I cropped into DX on the Z6 and then uh, blew it up a bit, which was fun. But yeah, all right. Actually, maybe would you guys like me to share that horrible moon photo? Would you guys like to see a really subpar photo of the moon that I got by using the camera in DX mode? If you guys do, please comment on the side. Let me just find the photo that's not blurry. Here we go. All right, here I'll share my screen here. Whale watching, Martin. That is so cool. It's better than my blurry photo of the moon. Whale watching and maybe some early foliage. Other than that, just road tripping. Hey, man, that's cool. And make sure if your diet allows it, which mine does not currently, you get some poutine, which is sort of Canada's national dish, which was coined in Quebec, which is basically fries, cheese curd, and gravy. And then you can get different proteins put on there, like brisket and stuff like that. It's super good. Tim, we got Tim here. How long does everyone think? How long does everyone think when Nikon will stop releasing camera with a shutter? The more cameras they have the same sensor, the price purchase. Yeah, shutterless camera. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. my Z6 makes a very loud sound, and I quite like it. But yeah, I'd be curious to see, when they get rid of the shutter entirely. All right, here I will share my screen for 2 seconds. And I will show you guys my horrible photo of the moon. So this was a photo I took yesterday. I shot it with, like I said, the teleconverter on my Z6. It was a 1.7 teleconverter with the OG 70 to 200 2.8G lens, the version 1. Again, Z6, shot at DX. And I think, God, what was my shutter speed? I think I shot it like 1/30. Actually, it was pretty slow. And I also set my timer so I could walk away from the camera and I wouldn't tap it. Hey, thanks, J Rod. I appreciate that. Yeah, I thought it wasn't bad. I think I can do better, but I think with the gear I have, I'm pretty happy with that. It's not bad. And then, yeah, it was interesting shooting with the D7200 yesterday. The first Nikon I ever owned was the D7100, and I loved it. It was such a cool camera. But when I switched to Fuji, the main reason was just I need something smaller, right? And I need something that could shoot 4K. So it was fun using the 7200 because a lot of it felt familiar. But obviously that camera is quite different from the 7100. So yeah, it was fun shooting with it. Definitely kind of brought back some memories. Make sure you use the tripod ISO 100. Oh, got some good tips here on moon photography. Make sure you use the tripod ISO 100, f10 to 11, around 1/60, 1/125. I will try it again. These are good settings. I'm gonna screenshot these settings. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna screenshot this J-Rod because I always like it when people share with me the settings I can use to improve what I'm doing. Right? Because a lot of people have good experience. Tim, Chuck's neighbors, Tony has a good video on how to get moonshots. Oh, that's sick. If you can send that in the chat here, I would love to check that out. It's nice to see how other people shoot stuff. Tripod and remote shutter and a timer is a must. Yeah, for sure. When I'm shooting shots like that, I usually set my camera timer to a 5-second, then I just take 3 steps away. And I shot in full manual. As much as I would love to trust the Z6 autofocus at 400 millimeters on the teleconverter, I don't, period. So I dialed it in with manual focus, which is one thing I really love about mirrorless cameras is the focus peaking, especially if you're wanting to shoot adapted glass, like older SLR stuff. That focus peaking really makes it doable for a lot of people, right? It's super handy that way. Sorry, I'm getting a little dehydrated here. All right, we will stay on for about 10 more minutes. So, folks, get your questions in, please. We're going to go for 10 more minutes, and then we will wrap there because I know everyone's super busy. It's August. We're all going out to shoot, so we won't run this one too much longer. But yeah, great comments, folks. I really enjoyed talking about the video editing. That's something I really enjoy talking about. I think that in the end of the day, people get really, really political on their channels about what editor they use. And the thing I would encourage you to do is just find the one that works for you, right? A lot of people hate the Final Cut workflow. For me, it works for me. So that's why I use it. I try to put out 2 to 3 videos a week, ideally two. And for me, Final Cut's really efficient. I know how to get through it quickly. I like to put some time into my editing, but at the same time, I've got a fiance, family, full time job. It can be tricky balancing shooting, editing, and putting out content regularly, and also juggling those other things. So for me, video editor that I know how to use and can use well enough, that's really what keeps me there, right? That's really what keeps me coming back. But also as well, maybe in the comments on the chat here, I'm curious to know what photo editor you use. For me, I use Capture 23 Enterprise as well as Affinity for my um, uh, Photoshop style stuff, or for HDR merges. Affinity is great for that. But Capture 123 Enterprise is what I use, and I quite like it. I use Lightroom for work. It's good, but I don't like paying monthly fees that Adobe has. So that's why I use Capture 23, because you can just buy it outright. You don't have to pay the fees. But in the chat, what photo editing software do you guys use? What's your preferred poison of choice? Bueller. I was waiting for someone to share their favorite photo editing software. I'm guessing lots of you use Lightroom. Lightroom's awesome. I really like some of the changes they made with AI for adjusting shadows and getting the subjects to pop more. That's something I've been doing on a lot of my work projects, and it's been fun. It's been nice to have that flexibility and to do it in a way where the shadows don't look so fake. Obviously, if you jack up the shadows on when you're editing like that, it can look pretty artificial. But in small amounts, small doses, it can be a pretty powerful tool, to say the least. Hold on, folks, 1 second here. I'm just going to check my other chat here. Nope. Okay, no problem. All right, here we go. We got some people coming in here with some great photos. Oh, wait, sorry. There's a whole bunch of people that have said stuff. Oh man. Sorry, I didn't scroll down. Oh, there's so many messages. Hold on, guys. All right. Here we go. J Rod. We got a question from J Rod. When's the wedding? Next summer. Next summer in late August, I will be getting married. So super excited about that. Kind of nervous to hire the photographer, because as a photographer, I will be critical. But it's gonna be fun. Definitely looking forward to it. Gonna have lots of family in. Such northern hemisphere bias. It's winter down here, lol. Oh, that's funny, Tim. Yeah. No, honestly, it's winter's pretty long here. I'd say in terms of places in Canada, one of the things I love about Calgary is it's sunny in the winter, at least. We don't have a lot of clouds, so it doesn't get too depressing. Jeff says, thanks for hosting the live stream, Joe. Great discussion here. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that, Jeff. Thanks so much. And thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. J-Rod, I use Adobe Lightroom Classic and Topaz for denoise. Nice. That's like a combo. Topaz for denoise is actually really good. I've tried that before, and I quite like it. And Lightroom Classic is great. It's a very powerful program. And really what it comes down to is knowing your camera and making sure you get a good photo to begin with, Jeff and Leslie, I use Apple Photos, Affinity, Pixelmator Pro. Okay, cool. I have used Affinity. Apple Photos is great, and Pixelmator Pro. I haven't tried that one. That sounds interesting. I'll have to look that one up after the live cast. I like trying out different programs. It's a ton of fun. I use Lightroom, but I don't like the subscription. Yeah, 100%, Martin. I get why they're doing it. It's a smart business move, but I like owning my program outright. I know I pay my $7 a month for Final Cut. That's the only one that I pay a subscription for, and I would prefer not to. I like the clone tool in Pixelmator Pro better than Affinity. Hey, fair enough. That's cool. And I'd like to give Pixelmator a go now that you've mentioned it, Jeff. I've never heard of that program before, but there's a lot of programs I haven't heard of. So that's cool. Oh, we got a comment here. That's awesome. You should fly Vahagan up. That would be cool. Well, one thing I would love to do when Chuck's better is I would love to see if there's any photo conventions coming up, maybe not this year but next year, and maybe we could all meet up and go to like I don't know what the photo version of NAM is. I'm a musician, so I measure everything by NAM, but something like that. Maybe we could all meet up and do some photography and raid the Nikon booth. We could bum rush Nikon and be like, give us free stuff, please. All right, Greg. Greg says the moon looks good. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Waiting on either a teleconverter for my 100 400 or a 400 45. Yeah, that's cool. And Greg says, really enjoyed the quick live stream. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that, Greg. Thanks for coming by. We're going to be wrapping up here in about 5 minutes. So if you folks want to stay for about 5 more minutes, that's about how much longer we'll be running for. Sometimes I use DxO Pure Raw to clean files. Oh, Martin, I've never tried that one. That's cool. I want to give that a go. That sounds interesting. I have yet to try the 800 PF on the moon. Should be pretty cool. Yeah, that would be a sick lens to use on the moon, and you get to use your whole sensor, which is just so lovely. I wish I could do that. Let's see. J-Rod, WPPI in Vegas every spring, early winter in Vegas. I'm not opposed to Vegas. Don't mind if I do. That sounds kind of nice. Yeah, we could go and do that. Actually, I guess it's a little preemptive, but I guess I could tell you guys. I am chatting with some folks potentially about maybe doing a video for a certain camera brand, not Nikon, but there might be something coming up. I can't tell you guys about it yet. It's kind of in the works. I'm just in communications with some different reps, but yeah, there might be some branded content coming up on the channel from a certain camera producer that I will not share at this time, because again, until the ink is dry and until I formalize an agreement with them, I don't want to get everyone's hopes up. I'm not leaving Nikon, don't worry, but I like to try out different stuff. I like to try out different brands, and if someone's excited about what I'm doing and the channel I've created, I like to showcase their stuff on my channel, right? All right, Martin, it works very well for that. Oh, I bet. That's awesome. But yeah, no, a trip to Vegas, that would be cool. I don't know if it'll happen this winter necessarily, just 'cause I got my wedding coming up. But if it was like a weekend, yeah, I could probably swing that. I mean, that would be fun. We could have everyone meet up and we could all go out for food and take some photos on the strip. That would be cool. And then check out some booths and look at some expensive gear that, I feel like it's like Wayne's World. Like, you'll never afford it, man. Live in the now. Right? That's really how I feel when I look at a lot of camera gear when I go to any fairs or to trade shows. But it's always fun. I think in the end of the day, the thing that makes those so much fun is just seeing people and going out and just engaging with different vendors and seeing what there is to see. It's like that guy that always goes to a camera shop and just tries stuff out but never actually buys. But folks, we're going to go for about 2.5 more minutes here. So if you guys have any more questions for me, please yoss that in the chat. We're getting close to the end here. I gotta go to Walmart and buy some discount chicken. I'm one of those guys. I will cut costs wherever I can, except for red meat. If it's red meat, I will go to my cousin's farm. J-Rod, crowd, I have to go. Joe, great stream. Have a great night. J-Rod, hey, thanks for coming by, man. Super appreciate it. And, we're wrapping up in a couple minutes anyways. I know everyone's probably got stuff they got to do. So, J-Rod, thanks so much for coming by. I appreciate it. Hey, Roy's here. Hi, Roy. Roy, would you like to join the live cast for like 3 minutes? I would love to see you, Roy. I'd love to see your extensive camera collection. That is much larger than my small collection. So, Roy, if you'd like to jump in for a few minutes, we can stay on for maybe 10 more. Roy says, J-Rod, you'll need a tripod. Yes. But Roy, if you would like to join for like 5 minutes, I'd love to have you. It's just been me talking everyone's ear off for the last 53 minutes and 58 seconds. So I'd love to, get you in here and get you to weigh in on the Nikon ZF, but in person. I need someone else to talk. I'm running out of gas, people. My water bottle's like half empty. Roy, getting a camera. Okay, awesome. Roy, take your time. All right, do you know what, folks? We will stay on for a few more minutes until we get Roy in here, and we'll have Roy on for a few minutes, then we'll wrap. So, Roy, yeah, if you would like to jump and grab a camera and then join in, that would be super cool. We'd love to have you. J-Rob would love to mount it on my German EQ. Ooh, interesting. Also, guys, in the chat, please let me know if this setup works. I'm just using a webcam, but I'm using a studio mic into a really old um, M audio interface. Does it sound okay? Do we think this could be improved, or is this manageable? The first live cast I did was on my iPad, which sucked. So I'm hoping that this is a little bit easier to listen to and view. So in the comments or in the chat, let me know what you guys thought of this. Was this okay? Was this bad? Also, as well, let me know if you guys think I should do more of these live casts. Again, I'm not usually someone that live casts. I'm a video guy. Like, I like to shoot stuff and post it. That's kind of who I am, right? I don't necessarily prefer. I don't really like doing live streams. It's fun. I'm enjoying it, but if you guys enjoy it, I could do this more often. Hey, Roy, how you doing?
What's not on?
Hey, it's all good. Take your time. Oh, we got Jeff here. I would join, but I just finished doing yard work, sitting in the porch, kind of dripping. Hey, that's all good. I totally appreciate that. Joe, we got someone here from the Drunk Wedding Photographer. Joe, I didn't know you were live. By the way, why is your city so empty? Normally like that, or just because of vacation? Oh yeah, so Calgary, that's a good question. Calgary's usually like pretty busy. It's not a big city. We're 1.7 million. It's not super big by any means. But we actually just had the Calgary Stampede. So after, hey Roy, once the Stampede wraps up, thanks for quiet. How you doing, Roy? How are you?
Just sat down to edit some photos, and there you were.
Yeah, that's awesome. How are things? How are things down south?
Oh, it's a lovely day today. Fairly warm, nice and sunny, not wintry at all.
That's awesome. What's winter like in Australia? Like, I'm jealous, I think.
Like that.
Oh, come on. It looks like summer here.
It's quite a nice day.
Yeah, because the only place you guys have skiing is up in the Blue Mountains, right?
Only for a couple of weeks a year.
Man, that's crazy. Now I know why so many Australians come up to Canada for skiing.
Most of the snow up there's man-made as well, which is not 100%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're big machines that generate the snow.
Yeah, no, those are cool. Yeah, actually, last winter we had to do a bit of man-made snow at the ski hill here in the city because we kept getting these Chinooks, and basically a Chinook, they're all over the world, but at least for us, it's a warm cell that'll roll through the Rocky Mountains, and we'll go from minus 30 to 6 degrees in like 20 minutes, basically, and everything just melts instantly. And actually, Leonardo DiCaprio, when he was here shooting, God, what was the name of that movie? The Revenant. He experienced one of these, and then he was like, "It's global warming." We're like, "No, it's not global warming, Leo. It's a Chinook. They've happened for thousands of years." But so, Roy, what's new with you? What have you been up to lately?
I got one thing to shoot today. Now I got popped to the other house to grab some stuff, and that's about it.
Nice, that's awesome. So, what do you think about the potential of a Nikon ZF?
I've heard they've been working on it for a while. It's only a small team though, so it's going to take a while. I think the Z6 III will probably be out first.
Totally. Which one would you prefer to see next?
There may be a lens any day. They've got another lens on the boil.
Oh yeah, what kind of lens do you think it'll be?
It could even be a macro.
Ooh, that would be nice.
I've only heard one person talk about it, but that's possible.
That's cool. And would it be a prime macro or like a zoom, do you think?
I think it'd be a prime. There's only one Nikon macro I know, and that's a 70 to 180. That's a zoom macro. That's the old one.
Right.
AFD lens. Yeah. Zoom macros are not very common.
Yeah, no, they aren't for sure. Well, and are there any prime macros out right now, like on the Z mount, or is it all older F mount?
You've got the two. You got the 50mm, and you got the 105mm. The 105 is brilliant. and the 50 is a bit of a disappointment. It's a nice convenient macro lens for carrying around, but it's just not up to the Z standard, I don't think. It looks like it was
Yeah,
made 50 years ago.
yeah, man. But no, it's so like, but with the ZF though, like, do you think it's going to be the 45 meg sensor from the old Z7 II, or do you think they'll pull over the Z8 sensor?
I think it's going to be a cannibalized Z7 in a new body, maybe something just a fraction bigger, maybe even a Z8 size body. Probably the same
Interesting.
sensor. I don't think they need to change much. It's all about the ergonomics with the retro stuff. There's not much difference inside.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I wonder if they'll like it, so if they took the Z7, like you mean like the Z7, like the OG Z7 or the Z7 II?
I think Z7 would be a good basis for a FZ.
Okay, so do you think they'd up like if it had video capabilities? Do you think they would upres it to 6K or just keep 4K? Do you think?
I don't think video is going to be 100% their target on that market. I think it's just going to be just a retro camera like the FC.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I
Be
just
nice
hope
if
it's a
they had
Z6 III.
they've got to keep the cost down. I
Oh,
think the Z6.
100%. Well, I mean, nothing's been affordable from them in a while. Like they've had really great, pro grade stuff with the Z8 and Z9, which I price
Mm,
wise is very competitive for the pro market, but the prosumer has just been left kind of dangling in the wind for, 2.5 years in terms of bodies at
yeah,
least.
that's my go-to, the Z9
Ooh,
and the 400 4.5 on it, which I absolutely
that's
love.
that's awesome. I don't know if I've got anything cool. Here's the next here's what I think the ZF is going to be. I'm kidding. But no, it's yeah, it's going to be interesting. So, Roy, do you have any shoots coming up that you're excited about? We were
No,
chatting before.
nothing
I was
really,
telling
nothing
them about
exciting, nothing
no
interesting.
nothing, nothing
DF,
interesting.
that's the DF.
Oh, that looks nice.
I had to have a grip. I couldn't stand it without the grip.
Oh, that's cool. How does it? And what's the weight on the DF feel like compared to like older DSLR? Like, is it pretty comparable in weight or?
It's not as heavy as it looks. It's lighter than it looks. Probably about the same as a Z7.
Oh, that's cool.
It's big, but it's not heavy.
Yeah, there's
Put the
something
metal
kind
tip
of nice
underneath
about a
doesn't help.
metal camera.
It's well made. It's tough. I know some forensic photographers that just use these because they've got such great dynamic range.
That's awesome. But
So
Roy, any trips coming up? Any trips? Anything fun? I know it's winter there,
I'm
but
on the housebound at the moment for personal reasons.
well,
I'm
fair enough.
not in jail though. Nothing like that.
Yeah, no, you're not on house arrest. That's good. That's
No,
good.
just feels
Roy
like it.
broke in and stole 3 Z8s from the Nikon drop.
One wasn't enough.
Exactly. You need two more. Yeah. No, it's so I'm actually hoping to get back to Australia. It probably won't be for a couple of years, but when I was there in high school, I only got to do the Gold Coast and Brisbane. So I really want to get to Melbourne because that's where you're at, right?
I am. I'm up on the top of one of the hills in the Dandenongs, which is a mountain range, which is very nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you ever get out to the Australian Open to do any photos or anything?
The outback, I used to. I don't at the moment because I'm tied up, but I used to love the desert. Did a lot of long trips. That's how I got modified my legs on a motorbike.
That's awesome. What's the there's that rock. Is it worth going to see like the
Ayers Rock, Uluru. It
yeah.
is. The thing is, it's only about 1.5 miles wide, but It's where it is, because you cross the desert for hundreds of miles, then it just sticks up out the desert. It's odd that way. It's not the Central Australia is just so flat. Then you've got this great big rock in the middle of it. It's quite
Yeah,
interesting.
that's cool. Looks like Martin wants to come visit too.
Bring him in.
Yeah, right. That'd be fun. We need to plan. See, Vegas. We don't need Vegas. Forget Vegas. We need to do a like Chuck trip when Chuck's better to Australia. That would be cool. I would
That
totally
would.
do that. It'd be fun. Drunk wedding photographer. Let's see what he has to say here. He's saying, "I have a black DF. Love the image quality, lightweight feel. And it's JPEG
Yeah,
though. Nice.
it's a quite underrated camera. Most people don't need more than 16 megapixels anyway, unless you're doing professional work that requires the more megapixels. It's quite an
Yeah, like
impressive camera.
billboards. Yeah."
It's got the D4 sensor in it, which is a lovely sensor. Just no video.
I don't need video. I'm kidding. Man, that was like the challenge. I was doing that 7200 review yesterday because my old man's got a D7200. And I was, yeah, for photos, it was still really fun because I used to shoot with the 7100. So I was like, okay, this is great. This is easy. And then I started trying to shoot video, like vlogging with it. Oh man, that was not easy. It was like in, out, focus was just struggling. And then I shot it in auto and it was totally fine. So it was like when I was in manual for video, it was like not good. And then when I shot it in auto, it was totally cool.
I think it's hard to get a bad camera now. They're all pretty
Agreed.
good.
Oh yeah,
Video is
even the
probably more
Z6 is
difficult.
still.
Yeah, I'm using it now on the video, on the webcam.
Oh,
I
sweet.
couldn't reach the Z8. I was too lazy.
Oh, Roy, your collection of cameras never fails to impress me. It's like, what's Roy's B cam? Z8. It's like, what's Joey's A cam? Z6. What's your B cam? Osmo Pocket.
Mm.
Jealous. Suspect the DF will go up in price when the ZF is announced. That would be interesting. Like just like from a collecting perspective, do you think? Drunk wedding
It's
photographer?
overpriced now. It's a good camera, but it's too expensive for what it is. People
Hmm.
that bought it, like I did when it was unpopular, have probably done quite well.
All the hipsters are buying it up and making it expensive
Yeah,
for the rest of us.
the collectors are buying them. It's like
Yeah.
the old Noct up there, the 1.2 50mm Noct, the ancient one. It's a terrible lens. It's soft. But collectors love it. So it's $6,000 or so, where it should be
Oh.
600 or something.
Yay, I could afford it now. Yeah, that would be good. Oh, I got a comment here from Greg. Having a resolution of the Z7, Z7 245 meg
Hang on a sec,
sensor.
open the door.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, all good. ZF attractive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, having a 45 meg sensor, Greg, would be killer, right? I think the ability to recrop things and not lose quality is something that's really underrated. And like if you're shooting with a ZF and you're using like a prime lens to try to really minimize the size for like street photography, the ability to crop in and post, I mean, that's huge, right? I mean, you're able to
I will.
really,
I always do.
yeah, exactly. Got this one here. Greg saying ZF competitive with a M110 or 11. I'm not sure what an M11, what an M110 is. What's an M110? Do you know, Roy?
The
Yeah.
ZF's a nice ZFC or ZF. It's
Oh,
just
sorry, didn't catch that. Sorry, one more time.
we're talking about the ZF or ZFC. I don't know
ZF,
what
yeah, ZF,
ZF's gonna
ZF.
be like. Might be ZFF. Who knows?
The naming is confusing for me. Awesome, folks. Well, hey, I think we'll probably wrap up in a couple more minutes here. Roy, did you have any topics you wanted to dive in before we wrap up the live cast?
Not really. I'm quite happy with Nikon at the moment. They've pulled their finger out and produced some nice cameras in the last 12 months or so. I'm still waiting for my 180 to 600. It's been a few weeks now, and I'm not used to this long delay. We usually get things
Yeah.
first. I got my Z9 on that 24th of December that year.
Wow.
It took 6 weeks to get the Z8, and so I'm quite shocked how long this is taking.
Yeah. It's crazy. Oh, it looks like what Greg was talking about was a Leica. Um, Greg, you may not know this about my channel, but the Leica is a price bracket of which I have never even come close to. So yeah, so I could speak to that. I've never used a Leica before. I mean, they're beautiful cameras. Like I would love to get my paws on one, but I've never had any exposure to the brand or the products, unfortunately.
I respect their engineering, and they're not quite what they used to be, but the the shutter sound on a Leica is beautifully. You can feel the engineering in it. But I'm
Yeah,
not a rangefinder guy. I don't see the point. I like long lenses or short lenses or fish eyes or whatever I want to put on them, and Leicas are not really suitable for that. I know you can,
yeah,
but it just doesn't. It's not functional. When the Nikon
sure.
F came out, an SLR, it killed all the rangefinders for a good reason. They're just so much more work. I've probably got one here somewhere.
Awesome. And yeah, 100% the DF was overpriced. Agreed for sure. Trunk wedding photographer. Greg's got another comment here. I am
Got that.
asking with the new Nikon. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
That's so
that's a
cool.
Leica copy.
That's awesome. The Mica. I'm kidding. I'm asking would the new Nikon ZF, am I using the right name, compete with the Leica M10 or M11? Yeah, no, I mean, Greg, I mean, I'm sure it would. Um, I mean,
Different market.
it's so hard because I mean, like I believe the M11, the M10, they're fixed
Yeah.
body, right? Like you can't take the lens off. So I mean,
No, it's the Qs you can't take the lens off. It's the Ms you can.
oh, you can. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like the
Again, Greg,
Q3,
like,
you can't take it. The Q3's
yeah,
got a fixed lens.
right. The Qs are the ones. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there will be. I mean, the sensors are going to be very similar, right? I think it's going to be more the color science that Leica has, right? That's one of their sort of looks is the way their the way their JPEGs come out. I'm sure if you were shooting RAW with the or NEF on the ZF, you could probably get some pretty similar results. But I mean, it really depends on what the ZF is going to be, right? We still don't know what sensor it is or if it's going to come out, right? Like it's still very speculative at this point, right? So I can't comfortably say that yes, it will defeat the Leica. I mean, it'd be cool if it did, but it's going to be a
Different
completely different
market.
price and a different beast.
The ZF will be a different market. The Leica's a more of a person that drives a Porsche or needs something dangle around his neck that looks pretty more than use a
Yeah, it's
camera.
an accessory.
It's an accessory, bling.
Yeah,
Whereas the
yeah,
Nikon's a
yeah.
workhorse is more,
Doing this.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what I am, and I'm not. I'm the guy that drives a dented Subaru. I'm not going to get a Leica before I replace that Subaru. Like it just can't happen.
I
Oh,
can't
we
afford
got
a new
Craig.
car.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Craig. Thanks for jumping in here. Yeah, we're just about to wrap up, but hey, thanks for tuning in. I know we started this one hideously early. Everyone's like, "You started at 5:15. Are you like 100 years old?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am," because I have to go to Walmart after, and I hate Walmart. You got
Yeah,
another
my
comment
car's
here for Greg.
25-year-old because I keep buying new cameras and things.
That's awesome. I wish I was 25 still. Man, I'm getting old. This year coming up, I'm turning 30, and I'm not looking forward to that. It's gonna feel weird.
Yeah, that's still young.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe. I
67 now.
hope. Yeah, but
Same
well,
age as
you
John
you
Ishii.
yeah, but you have the energy of someone young, and you look younger than you are. That's good. You're
Oh,
doing it
good.
right. The
Mm.
rays of sun in Australia are doing you well.
I'm going to live
Like
forever
the
or die
ozone space.
trying.
Yeah. Greg says they are different. I just wonder if the same potential like CF. Yeah. I mean, ah, I don't know. I'm going to do what no politician says and just say I don't know. Again, I would really have to get my hands on a Leica in order to really say like I can see what the difference is. Like I'd really have to give it a go. John Ishii's wife, she's shot Leica. If she was here, she could probably speak to how Leicas
Craig will be
perform.
welcome. Craig will be welcome. Everyone's
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah, everyone is welcome. I know. I've sent so many links. Like Roy, until you came, it was just me monologuing. I was like, man, like I'm not Chuck. This is tough. Like Chuck kills it every time.
I know he does a good job. He's getting better, I
Oh,
think. He's at home, so that's a good sign.
oh yeah. No, that's great. I mean, it'll be a slow recovery probably, but now that he's home, that's a really big step. So really hope he finishes recovering soon. I mean, just outside of us missing him on this channel, I mean, I can't imagine what this has
Yeah.
been like for his family, right? So, that's it's tough. But folks, all right. Well, I think wait, what did Craig say? Craig said, "All right, Joe, 30, please, dude. Okay, we'll go for like 5 more minutes, and if we go for any more time than that, my fiance will have my hide." I'm picking up stuff for supper. We're making Vietnamese chicken subs. It's gonna be great. I gotta get these chicken thighs and marinate them, and it's gonna be a whole thing, whole operation, multi-stage rocket. It's funny. They're doing all this work right now in my apartment, so I have to keep going up to my mom and dad's to stay there while they're doing this work. And every day I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to pick this up to cook," and my mom's like, "No, don't do it. We have different levels of cleanliness when we clean." I'm like, "Yeah, chef doesn't
Guy
clean."
cleaning is a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was like, well, and I think also as well, like who does dishes and who doesn't. Bill Burr said it best. He's like, in every relationship, there's two types of people: those who do dishes and those who soak things. You know who you are. And the people that soak them, they'll leave it just sitting in there for days, and you go, and it's just eggs floating in cold water. And you start
That's what
doing the
dishwashers
dishes,
are
and then
for. Dishwashers are for.
yeah, yeah. It's just I'm neither. I just need to clean more, but no, it's yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm blathering on, Roy. I'm like going down the rabbit hole of my life, which is probably not what people came for. They're like, "Oh, we came to talk about cameras." I'm venting about doing dishes.
Selective Imagery. Jeff has got a photo show on tomorrow night, Saturday night. Everyone should put a photo in. I know I need to find one somewhere.
Send them all right when the show starts, guys. That's what we need to do. I'm kidding.
He says not to do that.
I know.
We used to do that to Chuck, and he hated it.
Oh, you have to check every time. Chuck's like, you sent it in like halfway through the show, and I'm like, sorry. I'm a millennial.
I took a photo during the show and sent it in. Picture, this parrot landed just outside the window, so I took a picture and sent it in.
That's awesome. I wish I had that problem. The only thing I see outside of my window are angry homeless people. Like when they shot the God, what was that HBO show that just came out? It was like the zombie one that was shot in Calgary. Walking Dead. It wasn't Walking Dead, it was something else. God, I can't remember what it's called. But anyways, that show, I'm pretty sure they just went downtown during office hours and just filmed normal people. Like all the zombies. They don't have to put makeup on them, nothing. It's easy. I got another comment here from Greg. I acknowledge there are different types of buyers. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, that's just it, right? I mean, Greg, it's different consumers, different markets, right? I think the thing that's great about camera technology now is it's really hard to go wrong, right? Like you can get good photos. It really comes down, at least from my perspective, just to really understanding how you use your camera, like know your menu system, know what you're doing. And, I'm sure about 80% of the people in this chat could defeat half the Leica users, because a lot of Leica users, to your point, Roy, it's an accessory. They're just buying the brand as opposed to the actual gear, right? Oh, we got Nancy. Hi, Nancy. It's nice to see you. Stop by to say hi. Mega Millions tickets. Nice. When you win, you can fly us all out to Vegas.
I don't like
Nancy's
Vegas.
like, nope, I'm gone.
Too noisy.
Never mind. We'll go to the Outback with Roy. And then we got a question from Greg. How big is the Mega Millions jackpot today? Enough that you might be able to afford a Leica.
Beautiful lenses, but I've never seen a Leica lens with a Leica camera very often. Very rare. They have the cheap Chinese lenses on them just to say they've got a Leica.
Yeah, it's like I'd rather buy the Leica glass and mount it on one of my other cameras. Almost. Oh, we got another one here. Oh, Craig's got a quick ZF prediction. Then you can go. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Craig. Z6, Z6 II sensor ideally, X-Speed 7 processor, 2400. Ooh, what do we think of that? Roy, what do you think of that prediction?
It has to be reasonably priced. The Z6 series is a video camera of the range for people that just want to start videoing, I think.
It is 100%.
The lovely colors.
But it's interesting though, because I would never get a Z6. Like if someone came up to me tomorrow and said, I've got a Z6 II, if you sell your Z6, it's like $100, I'd go for it. Totally. But at this point, I would not sell my Z6 and get a Z6 II. It's not that the Z6 II isn't better. It's just, it's not enough better for me to
go through the stress. Same camera.
Yeah, it really is. It's just got double the processors and slightly better res for video.
Slightly better AF. I don't do birds much, so I'm trying to, but they're hard. They won't stay still for me.
They're evil, Roy. I got this stupid hummingbird outside mom and dad's. It's like camera shy. I keep trying to get photos of it. And then I tried to yesterday, and my fiance came up and folded a box behind me, and the little bird flew away. It was awful. I respect birders. Another one here. Nancy, I want to sell my D4 and all lenses. I want another Z9 for a backup. I mean, that's a heck of a backup, Nancy. I mean, yeah, you can't really beat that. We got another one from Craig. Z6 II is mainly for functional grip at this point. Yeah, 100%. Well, and again, like if I didn't have a Z6 II would be killer, right? Like it's just the fact that I've had my Z6 this long, and it's just I don't have like a justifiable B camera right now. I've got my Pocket 2 and I've got my drone, but my Z6 I use for everything. So if I was going to sell my Z6 and have to wait a while to get the next camera, it'd have to be a true upgrade, right? So like a Panasonic S5 2X. I need the Z6 III to be the Panasonic S5 2X. That's what I'm looking for in the Z6 III. That would be killer. But awesome, folks. Well, hey, I think I'm hearing the bell tolling for my name, so I'll probably wrap up there. But Roy, is there anything you wanted to leave everyone with?
I don't think so. Just enjoy your life and take some photos. I intend to. I've got to take some photos for Jeff on Saturday. You got to find something.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, definitely go over to Selective Imagery, folks. If you're watching this video as it's being aired live, Selective Imaging, Jeff's going to be having a great photo sit down tomorrow. Live cast, check it out. Also, as well, as you all know, the main reason we're all here is because of Chuck. So, wishing Chuck and his family all the best, speedy recovery, and, even just outside of the YouTube space, Chuck, get well for you and your family. We're all missing you, and all of our thoughts are with you. So please get well so I don't have to live cast anymore. This is not my comfortable space. This is not a safe place, Roy.
Better you than me.
Oh, man. But Roy, thank you so much for jumping on with me today. I really, really do appreciate
it. You look lonely.
I was lonely. I was like, man, like the chat's going hard. And like without that, I would just be going in circles. So, thanks to everyone for tuning in today. Really do appreciate it. And stay tuned tomorrow for a D7200 review. I don't get new stuff, Roy. I only get old gear and hand-me-downs. But remember to take beautiful photos every single day. Don't do it for the views. Do it for yourself. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next time. And thanks for coming, Roy.
Bye.